everybody, Matty here with Altcoin Buzz, TGIF, and happy Friday. We are doubling down today on the significance of the Lition acquisition by Tomochain. We'll take a look at that in further detail here on Twitter. We'll also examine why Ocean Protocol is making waves, no pun intended. There's a very senior member of a German central bank that's been touting Ocean Protocol, actually on LinkedIn of all places, which is kind of a big deal if you think about it. We'll examine whether or not that has affected price. VeChain is promoting a new, marketing initiative by Huobi that is celebrating its 7th anniversary. Gold has dropped significantly and a very important ratio, 7 ounces per Bitcoin. Peter Schiff is still calling Bitcoin the biggest bubble in the world in a recent tweet. That's despite the fact that all kinds of news is supporting a lot of Bitcoin exuberance, including the fact that Mongolia's largest bank is now offering crypto-related services. This on the heels of other news with DBS out of Singapore, with Silvergate taking in near record cryptocurrency deposits, with Russia's Gazprom bank also launching institutional services in Switzerland. This, of course, also in addition to JP Morgan launching Onyx, their cryptocurrency and blockchain division. Guys, if you like this kind of content, Bitcoin, blockchain, and cryptocurrency, be sure to like and subscribe. We are, however, starting today with news about Ethereum 2.0. Quantstamp says the launch is imminent. We're on altcoinbuzz.io with this article by Rachel. The much anticipated ETH 2.0 update is purportedly just around the corner. We talked a little bit about this the other day, but there are some details here and some updates that we want to cover. Quantstamp, of course, is a world-renowned auditing firm, and they've recently suggested that the wait for Ethereum 2.0 is drawing to a close. The firm revealed these details following an audit of Teku, which is the Ethereum 2.0 client that is being developed by Consensus. It has been a crazy year, and we've all collectively followed the crazy and wild success of the DeFi sector, but like any success story, that's a double-edged sword. And kind of the negative now that we're all facing is the fact that gas fees are at an all-time high. The network, as Rachel writes, is very slow for Ethereum. By the way, that congestion is also very evident right now for Bitcoin as well. There also are a host of other scalability issues. If you're not familiar with Ethereum 2.0, it's a protocol that is expected to put an end to all of these problems. And according to the Ethereum community, there's no better time to launch the protocol than right now in light of everything that we're facing. Trust notes here on Twitter describing the fact that the Ethereum 2.0 deposit contract launch is now in 2 weeks. This from a few days ago on the 23rd of October, so there's still probably about another week or so. We're looking at maybe the 6th of November. Adam Cochran here responding and reacting, oof, last minute delays on the ETH 2.0 deposit contract, not great. We were expecting a launch today, and late last night in an interview we find out it's been pushed back by 2 weeks. The primary reason being a newer, less tested cryptography library. Pretty concerning. You guys can take a look at that original Trust Nodes tweet here, as well as a breakdown of why that contract launch is now in about 2 weeks. Again, this going back to the 23rd of October, so about another week or so remains. I've likened this whole situation, guys, to video games and Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto Rockstar games. It'll come out when it's ready. I think that's the best way to go. So it's going to be kind of doled out in stages, and Ethereum 2.0 is going to come sort of in a granular sense, one bit of time, starting with the Beacon Chain launch. If you're not familiar with that, we've covered it previously a little more than a month ago. About 5 weeks or so ago, it was covered here on altcoinbuzz.io. Ethereum 2.0 Beacon Chain to launch soon. As you guys know, at a macro level, the entire protocol is going to move away from proof of work consensus to a proof of stake consensus mechanism. That is the whole idea here. So let's talk a little bit about the delay. The deposit contract was supposed to go live again on the 23rd of October. However, a few last minute updates resulted in its postponement. Cochran's publication disclosed that the launch has been moved forward by 2 weeks, and the postponement was blamed again on the need for, quote, a newer, less tested cryptography library. Ethereum has had a bit of a tough run, I have to say. It's down 2% today, now below $380, and in fact, it's down 8% on the week. So I think a lot of people are feeling those very high fees that we're seeing right now. If you've been experiencing Ethereum delays, if you've been experiencing that congestion network, you know what I'm talking about. Again, down 2% today, down about 8% on the week. I think people are kind of fed up, and they want to see this 2.0 kind of materialize and become reality. I talked about it the other day. I think it's better now to kind of make sure that things are done properly. I don't think there's any artificial deadline that we have to abide by. When it's ready, it'll be ready. It's going to be a masterpiece, but it's got to be airtight and it's got to be ready to go. Better to have it running smoothly and correctly than to rush it. Just my opinion, although I do realize the fact that people are impatient out there. So let us know your thoughts about it on the comments below, guys. Once Ethereum 2.0 does launch, is successful, and is proven, I'm curious also to know about your price prediction predictions for ETH. Many people are talking about how this is a very undervalued asset at the moment. So give us your thoughts about that as well. And I want to highlight now some tweets going back to this story that we covered a couple of days ago. Tomochain acquired a partner of theirs, Lition specifically. So this was a partnership that existed for about a year before it became an official acquisition in pursuit of enterprise blockchain solutions. So Kin here on Twitter is the Chief Business Development Officer. Kin has the following to say: the acquisition of Lition block by Tomochain is a fresh concept in our space. In traditional markets, it's an established method for growth, signaling long-term strategic alignment and financial strength to achieve a shared goal. For us, razor focus on enterprise expansion. Tomo's enterprise development has continued unabated since early 2019. We've developed products and commercial pilots for clients in automotive, healthcare, and others. Customized solutions are common, including the choice of blockchain technology and whether to go public or private. Lition, LIT, has developed a unique alternative option that utilizes public chain infrastructure while including privacy, deletable data, and meeting GDPR compliance. The technology, brand, and narrative play well with our upcoming enterprise initiatives. Tomo is a revenue-generating business with ambitious goals to pioneer global finance alongside national-level interest to launch central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, in our own government-focused initiatives. Lit's regulation-friendly chain is on point for financial applications at scale. Enterprise development is a time-consuming process that requires a methodical approach and an incredible amount of patience, absolutely. With Lit, the consolidated enterprise unit can tap into a deep repository of technical, product, legal, and business acumen pan-Eurasia to achieve our goals. I can't be more excited to be in the trenches with the Lit community. Together, we're going to achieve milestones that simply wouldn't have been possible to do so alone. During this transition phase, we encourage both communities to reach out, engage, and ask questions. Cheers. And to that point, right now, this was tweeted really just a few minutes ago, but by the time the video comes out and whatnot, it does take a bit of a, it's a process for me. I have to record, I have to edit, I have to publish. So by the time you're watching this, this will already be out, but at Tomochain and here, 1 more hour to the acquisition talk. Again, it's already likely going to be out by the time you're watching this. Both guest speakers are eager to reveal more information towards a new road for Tomochain and Lition. You can check it out here, specifically October 30th at 3 p.m. UTC on Tomochain's YouTube channel, featuring Long Vuong and Rich Lowasser. Will open up the conversation about Tomo and Lition's unique partnership and what's in store for both projects moving forward. I highly encourage you guys to check this out. Again, the 30th of October, that is today at 3 p.m. UTC. Tomochain YouTube channel. We'll link to this in the description below. We really have been seeing a trend this week that is starting to emerge. It's a pattern that is almost unmistakable, and we're going to be discussing it more in the second half of this video. But banks, including central banks, are becoming increasingly bullish on not only Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency and blockchain in general. Here at Donnie Big Bags, wow, the banks are bullish on Ocean Protocol. The senior strategy manager for enterprise data at Lloyds Bank was found shilling Ocean on LinkedIn earlier today. All eyes on Ocean now. Even Germany's central bank said they still have no competition. This is in reference to Pablo K here. And as you can see, if you're into concepts, he writes, of data asset valuation and data marketplaces, this recent platform launch is pretty impressive realization of that. Excited to see how this ecosystem and community develops. And you can, track Pablo K publicly. Again, as Donnie highlights here, he's the senior strategy manager for enterprise data at Lloyds Bank, which is a pretty big deal rather. Unfortunately, this didn't really do much to move the price of Ocean down today over 13%, unfortunately. But it's a weird day in the markets. We're up a little bit, but all kinds of altcoins are bleeding very, very significantly. I'm sure you guys have noticed. However, I think this does reflect that institutional interest that Donnie here is referring to. So still a good sign. I'll take it as a good sign. Speaking of LinkedIn, guys, I'm not so much bullish. I'm not so much into the world of Twitter. It's just never something that's really settled for me, but I'm very active on LinkedIn, as is Altcoin Buzz. As always, you can follow us really across all social media channels. I never really shill LinkedIn, but hey, you can join Altcoin Buzz. If you are an active member on LinkedIn, you can connect with us here, as well as the rest of the team. Feel free to reach out to me as well. This is me on LinkedIn. I am pretty much a whore on LinkedIn, so I will accept your invitation if you choose to connect, and happy to do so and start a discussion there. All right, guys, time now to celebrate Huobi's birthday. At Huobi Global here, tweeting, in celebration of Huobi Huobi turns 7. We're having 2 fun giveaways for our community. Win one of 777 limited edition smart NFTs, non-fungible tokens inspired by the Huobi bull, and $7,777 in VET, in VeChain, powered by VeChain Official. Let's celebrate Huobi turns 7. Going back here just a little bit, we'll see VeChain Foundation and their official tweet here. VeChain is officially co-hosting the Huobi Global 7th anniversary giveaway event. Together with our partner VIM World Global, stand a chance to win one of 777 limited edition Huobi Bull Smart NFTs and a share of $7,777 in VET tokens. Let's celebrate #Huobi turns 7. Feel free to throw your hat into the race, guys, and best of luck for those that choose to participate. Okay, let's now discuss another kind of milestone, I suppose. It's a certain ratio that we don't often hear about too much, but it's a 7-to-1 ratio. That is 7 ounces of gold per Bitcoin. It signals basically a strengthening Bitcoin and, in a relative sense, a weakening value of gold per ounce. Gold always used to be worth less in a relative sense, because think about it, if Bitcoin were exactly about $2,000, then you'd have a 1-to-1, 1 ounce per gold per Bitcoin. But now, as Bitcoin is encroaching and creeping up on that 14K mark and hopefully beyond eventually, you're now looking at about 7 ounces of gold per Bitcoin in terms of a value equivalency, and hopefully that number is going to increase with time. Think about it. If you roughly kind of, just for the sake of illustration here, think of gold as $2,000 per ounce, well, a $10,000 Bitcoin is going to be 7 ounces per BTC, but a $20,000 Bitcoin is going to be 10 ounces per BTC, and so on and so forth. So 7 ounces is a nice figure that we haven't seen, I don't believe, really in a long time, and Peter Schiff is already referring to that and calling Bitcoin the biggest bubble. So despite the fact that gold has sunk to yearly lows against Bitcoin, Schiff remains convinced that the former's price gains are ill-gotten. So we are seeing some good numbers for Bitcoin as it continues to challenge that $14,000 mark. There are different reasons for this. Bitcoin is going up. Gold has gone up, but is now kind of stagnating a little bit according to some analysts. Just for reference, the last time this metric or this ratio was 7 ounces per Bitcoin was in September of 2019. Commenting on the latest news events, quant analyst Plan B, creator of the stock to flow family of Bitcoin price models, called the move, quote, significant. It looks like Bitcoin is getting ready to conquer a large portion of the gold market cap. Data monitor Econometrics responded on Twitter. And think about this. Right now, Bitcoin is only at about 2.5% of the market cap for gold, or the size of the gold market. So some are suggesting that this is only the beginning. I've seen more and more people point this out recently on Twitter. And if you think about it, that just goes to show how much room Bitcoin has to grow. Again, only 2.4% right now of the current gold market. Despite the relatively positive news for Bitcoin, here's what Peter Schiff had to say. If you measure the size of asset bubbles based on the level of conviction buyers have in their trade, the Bitcoin bubble is the biggest I've ever seen. Bitcoin holders are more confident they're right and sure they can't lose than were .com or house buyers during those bubbles. You know, I don't know, I'm of two minds about Peter Schiff, because on the one hand, I love his criticism of traditional finance, of the Federal Reserve, of quantitative easing and stuff like that. But I can't help but feel that, you know, with Bitcoin, Peter just missed out on really the investment opportunity of the century, and is just, maybe it's his ego, maybe it's his other business interests, which very much revolve around precious metals, but he just can't seem to get over this bad call that he's made with Bitcoin. And I feel like if he did that, if he swallowed his pride and ate a little crow, you know, I'd be more than happy to welcome him to the party. I think there's plenty of room for us under this kind of libertarian cryptocurrency big tent that we have. So I wish Peter would come over and join us, but it just doesn't seem to be happening. He's got too much pride, and his ego is getting in the way. Bitcoin is hardly the biggest bubble in the world. I don't think this is the kind of thing that is going away anytime soon. I have my bias, of course, just as Peter has his, but that is my opinion. Let me know your thoughts about it in the comments below, and whether you think Peter Schiff will ever come around to Bitcoin. In some quick news here, I just want to highlight the macro level big wins that we're seeing across the world. This is the breaking news in the last day or so on Cointelegraph.com. Mongolia's largest bank to offer crypto-related services. This comes on the heels heels of the JP Morgan news that we covered yesterday, the DBS news out of Singapore that we covered earlier in the week. According to D-Daily, blockchain company Hexland, founded by former Samsung developers and white label tech company Delio, have agreed to start working with the Ulaanbaatar-based Trade and Development Bank of Mongolia, or TDB Bank. It's one of Mongolia's oldest banks with 50 branches across the nation, ranking second out of 17 Mongolian banks in terms of total assets. And it seems like Mongolia is a pretty progressive nation when it comes to cryptocurrency. Back in 2019, Ulaanbaatar's city administration agreed to partner with a South Korean blockchain company dubbed Terra in order to eventually replace the payment method for utility bills and government subsidies with the Terra stablecoin. And I think I know what you guys are likely thinking. You know, TDB Bank is not exactly a household name. Mongolia is not exactly a country whose economy you view as a world leader or ultimately all that important on the global stage. But these are the slow steps that we take. These are the precedents that are set then, that other countries, that more prominent banks and, let's face it, economies can then look to as a precedent that's been set. So just my opinion. You guys can also read about it here on coinounce.com. Mongolia's largest bank plans to offer cryptocurrency services. There's a lot of Q3 news coming out today, and just in general, we're hearing, again, this addition to all of the news that we've already been seeing, the positives this week. We're seeing more and more little bits of positive news that are being added here to the overall sentiment. Silvergate takes $586 million in cryptocurrency deposits. In Q4 of 2017, they did accept more. They took in 835 in crypto business, but this is their largest quarterly total since then. Again, 586 million. We've been seeing big numbers from other companies as well. Genesis Trading, for example, Grayscale just had their best quarter, I think, on record. And again, this comes, along with a whole bunch of other news. CoinDesk reporting here that Gazprom Bank, a bank from the fold of Russian energy giant Gazprom, they're also launching their own institutional cryptocurrency services in Switzerland. We've heard about all kinds of buying on the part of MicroStrategy. Square, JP Morgan has been talking about gold. They've just launched their Onyx service. They're officially now at least one foot in the door with blockchain and cryptocurrency. Again, we talked about that yesterday. If you haven't checked out that video, then be sure to do so. But I'm just kind of citing all this stuff rapid fire here as we close out to just suggest the fact that I really feel like we're onto something here. I really feel like there's almost a turning point that we're approaching now, and it's almost like a popularity thing. It's almost like Bitcoin was kind of, I don't know, it wasn't in the in crowd for a while, and people are starting to realize that maybe Bitcoin is blossoming, maybe Bitcoin has more to offer than people previously expected. But for whatever reason, there's this institutional interest right now that's starting to come around, and I think we're really on kind of the knee of that hockey stick curve right now, where things are just getting started. These are the early precedents that are being set, and look, guys, I'm enthused. You can probably tell. So a lot of positive news. If you haven't been up to speed with some of those previous stories, go back, check our previous videos, guys. It's all there over the course of these last few days and weeks. But let me know your thoughts about it. As you can tell, I'm pretty excited in anticipation of what comes next. And that about wraps it up for today, everybody. Hey, do be sure you're following us on all the regular social media channels and keep checking back into the website. It is altcoinbuzz.io for all the latest news and developments. Go ahead, like, subscribe, share, and hit the bell to receive notifications if you've enjoyed today's video. Best of luck, guys, if you choose to invest on this Friday, but have a good tail end to your week, a great start to your weekend. Stay safe out there, and do be sure, as always, to join us again in our next video. Take care.